one reason why I would ever decide to put this shit back on. We're back in Sonic Boom territory, folks. I really didn't think anything was going to come out of that little sideshow in 2014, but Sanzaru Games decided to take another go at it and make something that people can hopefully actually enjoy this time. Rise of Lyric speaks for itself. I am fucking done with that game. I considered Shattered Crystal the lesser of two evils. I thought Sanzaru Games understood the fundamentals of Sonic the Hedgehog better than what Big Red Button tried to attempt, but Shattered Crystal was bogged down with glaring structural issues that made it tiresome to experience after only a couple of hours, which I thought was especially damaging as a handheld title. But I'm pretty fucking certain it's not because of Shattered Crystal's overall lukewarm reception that Fire and Ice saw the green light. It has to be because of the cartoon show. Without a doubt the most successful asset of the Sonic Boom spin-off franchise. It's got a second season on the way and does moderately well in ratings and home media from what I understand. I haven't watched it myself since 2014, I wouldn't really know fully. But it's good to hear something good come out of this spin-off series, and if Sanzaru Games wanted to bear the responsibility of taking another crack at a Sonic Boom game after 2014's disaster, when expectations are already rock bottom in a sense, okay. Let's see what they do. So what do we get when we combine Fire and Ice together? I'm hoping it's not actually evaporation. That was supposed to be a joke. Spent money on this. Anyway, let's go. This stuff's starting to chafe like a motherfucker. Dr. Eggman is up to no good once again as he begins collecting a mysterious element called Ragnium to power up his robots. As a result of the nefarious doctor mining the planet for the stuff, the region's climate has gone out of whack, and after closing up an exploding fissure caused by the change in weather, Sonic and friends suddenly find themselves with fire and ice powers. Just like that, it just fucking happens, and nobody seems all too concerned with it. They think it's awesome, and then it's immediately dropped after questioning it for one scene. So with the ability to manipulate fire and ice, Sonic and company travel across the region to close up all of the damaging fissures caused by Eggman's experiments, while keeping an eye out for one of Dr. Eggman's newest creations, Defect, a tiny robot created for the sole purpose of extracting Ragnium that can't actually do that, so it spends most of the game existing. Like, I seriously think they didn't know what to do with the thing besides be a punchline for one continuous joke, and hope that enough kids would think it was cute enough to buy the inevitable plush toy tie-in. Well, that's all we're getting for story here anyway, nothing we haven't seen before. Eggman's up to something, Sonic and friends don't have to stop him, so go ahead and stop him. Better than previous games, but literally anything is better than before, so I guess that's not a real compliment in the end. +1 for the improved presentation. No, Knuckles still has fucking nuts in his mouth, but characters don't just emote. Unlike Shattered Crystal, in-game cutscenes are fully voiced, with the entire cast of Sonic Boom returning to reprise their roles. It's always good to hear Mike Pollock as Dr. Eggman again, but I swear he calls me a shit snail at one point.
My Radium-enhanced racer will make you look like a shit snail, Sonic!
A lot of jokes are of the standard Saturday morning cartoon affair. I didn't really laugh. I didn't wince either, if that means anything. I've heard all this stuff before, but I'm also a guy nearing 30 years of age playing a game primarily meant for children. For a Sonic game, spin-off or not, I was disappointed to find the soundtrack underwhelming. It's very generic, not catchy at all, a staple of good Sonic soundtracks to me. It sounds exactly like background music for a cartoon show. I guess I should award bonus points for the consistency, but this is a platformer, people! The Gothic Gardens are the only thing that came close, but I have to listen to it again to even think about humming it. But alright, now this is what I was wondering about the most. If Sanzaru Games were going to make another Sonic Boom game, I mean, how would that turn out? Would they legitimately listen to feedback and make something people can enjoy, or do we have another cash grab to capitalize on the success of another medium? Now, there was something that made me cautiously optimistic for one reason and one reason only. They delayed this for added polish, and when the fuck does that happen for a Sonic game? Fire and Ice was originally a fall 2015 title, but it was pushed back for quality control and to coincide with Sonic's 25th anniversary. I remember thinking, oh fuck, this is all we're getting, isn't it? But thanks to the announcement of Sonic Mania and Project Sonic 2017, I think everyone, myself included, was willing to go a bit easier on Fire and Ice. It was just a matter of the finished result. And I'm happy to say Fire and Ice is miles better than anything we've seen so far in the Sonic Boom franchise, which I know to some isn't saying much because the trip to the fucking dentist is better than these, but I think Sanzaru Games made an honest-to-God attempt at fleshing out what people liked about Shattered Crystal while reorganizing, if not outright omitting, the shit nobody liked. Collectibles are no longer needed for level progression. You know what this means? You can either explore the level at your own pace, or blaze through that shit like the Sonic character you are, are, with both parties being able to advance through the game all the same. Levels are also nowhere near as padded out as previously. How many times did we have to watch Sonic or someone else rocket across the loading screen with this touchscreen tether, launching us to get another area of the 15-minute long experience? Things are considerably smaller in Fire and Ice. If there's an off-beaten pathway, it's usually a 5-second distraction with a collectible waiting at the end of it, or a bonus challenge to get yourself another form of a collectible. Yes, collectibles are still a thing in Fire and Ice, but all of it is optional and frankly kind of meaningless. Like the Amy hammers, you collect enough of them, you can get cosmetic skins for Amy's hammer. Do you want the basic hammer skin, the titanium, ragnium? It doesn't matter to me, everything dies in one hit in this game anyway, and you're probably using the homing attack to do the job. And as for the coils you collect for sticks, getting them all just gets you the stick robot, a racer used for the multiplayer stuff, and you unlock more stuff for that by collecting these trading card puzzle pieces of the sort, which are usually locked behind a secret challenge room in a stage, or earned by completing these very short and not at all challenging minigames. No shit, you can just hold R and X during these in particular, and the stage wins itself. On one hand, I'm glad progression isn't locked behind collectibles. On the other hand, if you're gonna have them at all, have them mean a little something more. The trading cards for multiplayer content, I'm okay with that, but fuck if I could care about the hammers and coils. But at the same time, it's not like you're fighting tooth and nail to find them all either. If you have even the most basic knowledge of how goodies are hidden in a standard platformer, you can find most, if not all of these things on your first run. I got 93% first time through. 93% just from following the basic rules. If you're into going right, go left. If you see a trail of rings going into a bottomless pit, it's not a bottomless pit. Shit like that. And unfortunately, your reward for finding these secrets, most often than not, are these unsatisfying MacGuffins. I'm more excited when it's a shield from enemy attacks. At least I see the benefits of that right away. But there's nothing else in terms of power-ups like that here. You got a dash button, every character can homing attack, you can swing on objects with your energy tether to keep momentum going. Besides character-specific abilities, that's all you're really doing. Pretty early on, you're given access to all 5 characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Sticks, and now Amy's playable. And they each rock their own unique ability. But how you complete a stage is mostly preference, because most of the time, character-specific abilities are only required to get one of those optional collectibles. Getting by the stage as fast as possible just requires you to jump, dash, attack, and hit springs like nobody's business, and as a handheld Sonic game, I like that design, but it definitely could have used more power-ups worth a damn, or maybe more of that ragnium stuff the game centers around. You get these green rocks by destroying enemies in very, very small amounts, and other times you can collect these timed dragon-like relics that are totally not red coins from the Mario series, and they give you a bigger boost when you grab them all, but still nothing to brag about. The point of Ragnium is to unlock more robots for multiplayer racing. I had just enough of the stuff by endgame to unlock the remaining robots, but there's still these optional upgrades I can buy for them that require such a ridiculous amount of Ragnium it requires grinding in a goddamn platformer. Nuh-uh. It would have made more sense to me to have a large chunk of Ragnium be awarded to the player for discovering hidden pathways. Look, there's no special stages or chaos emeralds, no elemental shields, you have infinite lives, so the joy of finding 1-up boxes is no longer there. There should have been more to discover than just this borderline pointless stuff. Ragnium was the way to go in my opinion. But let's say you don't give a shit about any of that stuff, which is totally fine to do. You don't need any of that just to beat the game. So what do you have to look forward to in Fire and Ice as a Sonic game? Now, to be blunt, I think Fire and Ice is a bit on the generic side in level design. A fast-paced generic, no doubt, but it still has a few structural issues. I lost count the amount of times I went through an automated dash panel in Corkscrew that led me to the next part of the stage. It's this game's version of the energy tethered loading times from Shattered Crystal, only, they're more visually interesting, but still require no input from the player. You'll be doing more than enough homing attack combos, swinging on energy tethers, and doing all the basic platforming challenges. You can switch between fire and ice mode with the push of one of the triggers. You can either freeze the water solid or melt it to clear the way, and that's about it. There will be a handful of occasions where you need to switch on the fly to avoid taking damage of the sort, but none of it ever gets brain taxing. You see water, you freeze it. You see ice, you melt it. That's all she wrote about that, which is, sort of anticlimactic, as that's a major theme of the whole game, and it's essentially no different than the switch mechanic in Mighty Switch Force, only without all the fun puzzles. But if Fire and Ice has something definitely going for it, it's got a great pace, because you don't have to collect anything to progress, you can just go. Stages and challenges are quick and to the point. You don't need to spend a longer than normal time on just one stage to find the things needed to get the same mind-numbing bullshit during the next stage. You can use any character from the available 5 at any time to finish a level. It's pretty exhilarating to try and keep the speed going. See how much you can do without ever stopping. It's a quality I share with a lot of Sonic games I enjoy out there. You won't be able to experience much in multiplayer if you decide to ignore everything, but say you want to get those trading cards and whatnot. Multiplayer is not a game seller for sure, but it's not too bad. You select one of the robots you unlocked and race against your opponent for 3 laps in one of many racetracks you unlock as you collect more shit. By itself, they're harmless races to the finish to see who can finish all 3 laps the fastest, nothing you haven't seen before. But diehard Sonic fans will probably see these as a bare-bones copy of the Sonic Rivals formula, without all the power-up fuckery. It could be the camera angle, they are quite similar. But racing against a fellow Sonic player is no less intense when you both bring your best to the table.
My man, what are you wearing?
Sanzaru Games trimmed the fat big time with Fire and Ice, and you know what? I've garnered some respect for the development team because of that. It really felt like they listened to feedback, but beneath all that unnecessary fat they did away with lies a game that, yes, is not all bad, it's perfectly fine, but it gives you very little reason to go back to it. The collectibles are strictly a numbers game, level design is streamlined, yes, but offers no real multiple routes to your one destination, it's finished in about 6 hours, doesn't have much in boss fights, definitely could use more of those. As a handheld Sonic game, you can easily spend a few minutes of your time to select a stage, complete it in no time, and move on. But Fire and Ice is certainly a one and done sort of game. At $40, that's a bit up there. So wait for a price drop.
I asked you a question, you're just gonna ignore me.
Shit, you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. And where's my Smash Bros. Title card?
Oh, my bad. Thanks for your help, PK.
Nah, no problem. So what's next on your agenda?
You know what? I was thinking of going back to Sonic.
Sonic. But I thought you already did all the games.
Why does everyone keep saying, like, the handhelds, man? The handhelds.
Like Sonic Free Riders?
No, not like Sonic. Is that on a handheld?
Well, then what do you mean?
What? The Game Gear stuff. Sonic 1 to 2, Sonic Advance, Sonic Rush, all of that.
Oh, and then Sonic Free Riders, right?
So, I think it's time we give Sonic the Hedgehog another visit. And, I want to cover a lot of stuff this time. It's a new venture. La la. You guys ready for another Sonic Marathon? I think I'm ready for another Sonic Marathon, but I will need some prep time for this one, and the next video I'm doing is not necessarily Sonic. I'm heading back to the FNAF world, Five Nights at Freddy's universe, because Sister Location just came out. I gotta look at that. I'm gonna give Elliot a call, see what he's doing. And then afterwards, I'm heading back to the Blue Blur, Sonic the Hedgehog. And once again, a big special thanks to my buddy PKSparkxx here. Why don't you give yourself a big plug on this shoulder there?
I'm happy to be on the channel. I've been wanting to do something with Johnny for a while, so happy to be here for you guys. If you guys enjoyed my commentary, you guys want to check out some Mario content, check my channel out, youtube.com/DieHotness. I'm doing Super Mario Star Road. I'm doing Paper Mario Color Splash. I'm doing Super Mario Chaos Edition. Basically, if it's Mario and Nintendo, I probably do it.
And for all who's watching, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.
Bye.
Learning from past mistakes. Ace bandages underneath the sports tape, gloves, so none of it can mess with my fucking hands. Unfortunately, I didn't get every bit of the area, because sometimes shit like that can happen, and I end up pulling some hair out. Anyway, look at that. Look how fast I'm doing it. No pain, no gain. I'm learning from my mistakes too, you see.